If you want to see more detailed images, videos, and the full article, check the link in the description. Following overnight strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, the Middle East holds its breath, awaiting a response from Tehran's network of proxy militias. The anticipated retaliation, a show of force expected to bolster Iran's position, has yet to materialize, leaving analysts questioning the extent of Tehran's influence and the willingness of its proxies to engage in further conflict. The absence of immediate retaliatory actions from these groups significantly limits Iran's options for escalating the conflict with the United States. While Iran's Revolutionary Guards issued a stark warning on Sunday, promising regrettable responses and hinting at unconventional methods beyond the comprehension of their adversaries, the actual actions of their proxies tell a different story. Their apparent reluctance or incapacity to swiftly respond to the strikes casts doubt on the effectiveness of Tehran's regional power projection. This hesitancy significantly hampers Iran's ability to escalate the situation, at least in the short term. The most forceful declaration of support for Tehran came from the Houthi movement in Yemen, an Iran-backed group. Their political bureau called for a unified Muslim front against what they termed Zionist American arrogance, vowing to target U.S. naval vessels in the Red Sea. This threat carries significant weight, given the Houthis' history of conflict with American forces, stemming from attacks on shipping in the Red Sea and against Israel, which ultimately led to a U.S. air offensive earlier this year, only quelled by a ceasefire in May. Experts, such as Michael Knights of the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, highlight the Houthis' continued capability to act independently, describing them as a wild card beyond direct Iranian control. This autonomy, however, doesn't necessarily translate into coordinated action with Iran's broader strategy. In contrast to the Houthis' relatively overt pronouncements, other Iran-aligned groups in Iraq, known for past attacks on U.S. targets, show little indication of imminent action. These groups, capable of inflicting considerable damage on U.S. bases across Iraq, Syria, Kuwait, and Jordan, remain largely silent. The potential repercussions of such actions, including significant losses sustained in past U.S. counterstrikes, likely serve as a potent deterrent. As Knights pointed out, while these groups possess the capability to inflict damage, the U.S. military's awareness of their potential targets and rapid response capabilities mitigate the threat's effectiveness. One exception is Kataib Hezbollah, a Tehran-backed Shia militia in Iraq, which threatened to attack U.S. interests in the region. A commander, Abu Ali al-Askari, even used provocative language, describing U.S. bases as duck-hunting grounds. However, this group's significant losses following a previous attack that resulted in the deaths of 3 U.S. soldiers raised doubts about the likelihood of them following through on their threats. The memory of that heavy blow from U.S. airstrikes acts as a substantial constraint. Hezbollah, a key component of Iran's axis of resistance, remains conspicuously silent. Reports from regional journalists suggest Hezbollah is avoiding involvement in any renewed confrontation between Iran and the U.S. The group, severely weakened by Israel's military offensive in Lebanon last year, which resulted in the loss of its leadership and a significant depletion of its missile arsenal, is unlikely to engage in any large-scale offensive. The damage inflicted last year has demonstrably hampered Hezbollah's capacity to act as a major player in this conflict. Hamas, another member of Tehran's network of proxy groups, is similarly incapacitated, lacking the resources to pose a credible threat to either the U.S. or Israel. The recent assassination of several senior officials within the Revolutionary Guards, individuals deeply involved in managing these proxy forces, further weakens Tehran's ability to coordinate and direct operations. Among the casualties was Behnam Shahryari, identified by Israeli military officials as a key figure in supplying these proxies with weapons, including ballistic missiles. His death, which occurred during a targeted airstrike in western Iran, is a significant blow to the operational effectiveness of Iran's network. The implications for the U.S. are substantial. With approximately 20 bases and tens of thousands of troops deployed across the Middle East, alongside a significant diplomatic presence, potential targets abound. In response to the escalating tensions, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has announced increased security measures across the region, particularly in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. He emphasized the military's heightened state of alert and readiness to respond to any Iranian or proxy retaliation, explicitly warning against such actions. Further underlining the elevated risk, a U.S. military-overseen maritime center issued a high-risk advisory regarding U.S.-associated ships in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. The advisory highlights the heightened threat to commercial shipping in these strategically vital waterways. While the immediate threat of large-scale proxy attacks appears muted, Tehran retains other avenues of retaliation. Past actions demonstrate a willingness to employ unconventional methods, such as large-scale bomb attacks targeting U.S. personnel in Lebanon or even Jewish and Israeli interests as far away as Argentina. Reflecting this reality, the FBI has intensified its investigation and surveillance of Hezbollah sleeper cells within the United States, indicating an awareness of potential low-intensity conflict scenarios, even within the U.S. itself. The unfolding situation highlights the complexities of asymmetric warfare and the limitations of even a powerful nation's capacity for complete control over its proxies in a turbulent regional landscape. The coming days will reveal whether the apparent hesitation of Iran's proxies represents a strategic recalculation, a limitation of their capabilities, or simply a temporary lull before another wave of attacks. The uncertainty itself is a testament to the volatile situation.